Today on the American Truck Podcast, we talk in depth about No Man's Sky, Fallout 4 Nuka World comes out soon, Battlefield 1 will be having an open beta, Twitch is buying Curse, and we talk about the July trends on YouTube. Hello and welcome to the American Truck Podcast with Andrew C.
And Jefferson B.
Dr. Mayor, dude.
And Freelance Gamer.
We were going in the wrong direction.
Indeed
You're playing that City Simulator, right, Mike?
He has been.
What's that called?
City
No, what's the
Skylines.
City Skylines.
The
Oh,
best
okay.
city simulator in the world.
How many? Okay, competing against what? SimCity?
Yes.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, even the good SimCities, though, apparently it's better than.
Correct.
And you also have Tropico.
Is that a city simulator?
Yeah, it's
It is,
but it's
but-
really you building a city or anything
Yeah.
else. You just
So you're
it's the
building
same
like
as
a-
that, where you set the rules and build the cities and do.
Okay, I keep seeing it on sale, but I never quite know if it's worth it.
I've never paid much attention to it either, personally. It's one of those games that people don't really think about much, unless you're like super into it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So does anyone know who let the elephant into the room?
Wait, there's an elephant in my room?
There is. It's quite large,
Man, I
actually.
just vacuumed my carpets.
Oh yeah, you're gonna need to do a little more than vacuum them this time. Yeah, of course, the elephant in the room here being the release of No Man's Sky here.
Woo!
What with all of the flip-floppiness of people's opinions. Obviously, this game has a lot of opinions, and there's no real saying who is right and wrong per se, because everyone I've talked to has had a completely different experience with the game. So,
Which is not a good thing, by the way.
No, it isn't. So the game was released with mixed reviews, and if you go on Steam, it's got mixed reviews as well. I've seen a very small number of people who had problems playing the game, and then a large group of people who didn't like the game, and then a large group of people who were very happy with the game and did not have problems, or people who had some problems but that have been resolved. So that's a thing. You're gonna have that always. You're always gonna have people who just don't like the game. But I think that this game had a big problem in that it was announced in 2013. It was then hyped in 2014, in 2015.
Sony hyped it.
They were hoping that maybe it would come out in 2015, so it got a lot of hype then. It got a lot of hype at the beginning of this year because it was supposed to come out in June, and then it didn't, and then it came out finally here now in August. So you've got 3 years worth of hype. There's nothing good that can come from that, because all that happens is you create assumptions and beliefs and thoughts with the people who are going to be buying this game that it's going to be one thing or another, and then if after those 3 years the product you get doesn't match your expectation, that your expectation could be massive compared to what the original plan was, it's terrible for everyone. Because
I couldn't
their
agree more in this
opinion is not going to match what they thought that they were going to get, and it's not that they were necessarily wrong in thinking that that's what they were going to get. I mean, someone went and looked, and actually they started going through all of the things that No Man's Sky was supposed to have, and that was advertised by the developer Hello Games, what it was going to have when it released, and they found a very exhaustive list of things that just didn't make it. For one reason or the other, we don't know why it didn't make it there, but they've been able to see, here's the developers saying this would happen, and then it never showed up here in the final release. So,
I understand. I would like to take a moment just to point out the fact that these are the features that you're referring to are those that were advertised but are not presently in the game.
correct.
For those who are watching this video in the future, this
They may
list
be
may
there.
be very greatly reduced.
Right, it could be a much smaller list going forward. But
Just
as
wanted
of
to throw that out
release
there.
day
Correct.
and release week, they don't exist currently. Doesn't mean that they're not coming, but we don't know at any real time frame if they will come.
Right. I couldn't agree more, and it's one of those things where I almost question if there's too much hype Like I wonder
yeah.
if there was just an unhealthy, and I mean we see this time and time again with all these wonderful games that are coming out that are getting squashed because all this hype is creating an unrealistic expectation.
Right.
That coupled with publisher pressure upon a miscommunication between publisher and developer, that it's hurting the gamer at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And the developer. And
That's also
the
true.
actual developer, because
We're losing
now
developers
we
like
have
flies.
Hello Games, and a lot of people are going to look at them and go,
And then don't lie about multiplayer.
yeah. The way that was said is bad.
Technically he never said it was multiplayer, but you said you could play with others.
And the chances you'd ever find each other were
slim.
Right.
So
Again.
I think they were assuming that you'll never meet each other.
it was the implication, and then they had some people who were on the same planet, and then they stood next to each other and could not see each other, and that was a thing that we saw. And
That
I
may be
understand it. They said it in, if you looked at it on Steam, it's a single player game. It's marked as such. I knew as soon as I read that, cool, that means other people can affect the world I exist in, but I probably cannot interact with them, and I was okay with that.
And I wonder if this might be another case of features coming down the line, because we've seen all kinds of great blog posts. I've been following the blog and the Twitter accounts of the developers, and specifically, I believe his name is Sean, the guy who actually owns Hello Games.
Yeah.
I've been following them quite closely for these past couple days, and they have plans. It's just they were so pressed to try and get a stable build out at release time. And I understand. I'm looking at the show notes right here, and you have a very poignant question that I think is well worth proposing to the crew.
Yes. Should this have been delayed more?
Yes.
I agree. I have to agree. I would say, like, I would rather have a polished game that requires my patience rather than a unpolished game that requires more of my patience.
Right.
Something that
because-
functions above.
Who has polished games nowadays?
True. I mean, I would like something that functioned above 30 frames per second or at all on my rig.
Right. And
See, that's funny because I was getting 50 and 60 frames per second.
and it's very
No problem.
possible
Constant
that
jitter.
it's just a matter of the way that the game is developed, and it just takes time for these types of things to be worked out. I know that they said just this week that they just now hired a team of quality assurance people and testers that is bigger than the 15-man No Man's Sky team.
Right, which
But-
in and of itself, let's be honest, it's a 15-person team releasing a game that is, I would almost,
Yes.
I want to call it AAA. I think this is a AAA game that's worth
It's
that's
AAA
worth the title.
quality. It's AAA quality from a AA team. That's the way I
Right.
look at it.
They have overturned so many stereotypes that have occurred presently in the industry. I have to give them credit for that. It might be an unstable game right now, but I would say that No Man's Sky is still a good game.
For those who can play it, absolutely.
Exactly. That's
Absolutely.
what I'm not saying. I'm not calling
Yep.
it stable. I'm certainly not calling it finished.
Yep.
But it's good, and
I would say
man,
that
do I
that is
love
a
this game.
very fair statement to put out, and it's for you can only state the facts of what has happened for some people, and that there's like I said at the beginning, there's so many people who have a great experience so far and have had a very terrible experience, and the two sides of those exact coins exist.
And I wonder almost if this is the double-edged sword of having, Big Brother Sony standing over Hello and helping them to kind of bring this into the limelight.
Right.
Like we wouldn't
Also
know
saying-
about this game if they weren't there. But also, I wonder how much of this,
Shoving.
deadline pushing, like how much of this pushing had to come from Hello fighting for their game
Right.
and Sony wanting it out, today,
Right.
or last Friday. You know what I'm
2
saying?
years ago, maybe.
Sure, they wanted it
No.
then. They wanted a holiday release then and there.
Yeah, and I'm
But
sure it took a lot of
I-
battles. But
This is a lot of stress and discussion, but it's one of those things where this game can only get better. It obviously, it can't get worse at this point.
I mean, it could, but it's
You know.
very unlikely to. It's
Right.
you'd have
We
to
expect this game to only get better,
right.
and maybe multiplayer will be a thing.
in the
Maybe it's going to be a thing in the future, or
It
maybe it
very
was
well
one of those
could be.
things that the scope of the game has had to change.
Right.
And that's a very real possibility. That happens all the time in software development.
Right. And
Sometimes
that,
you just got to call an audible.
a lot of times is fine to have happen as long as you don't have 3 years of hype that has allowed your actual plan to become 3 times bigger than the actual plan in other people's eyes, just because they don't know the actual plan. And
They don't see that day to day.
Right, exactly. And it's just a side effect of the way that we make and release games today.
And I feel like it also is a testament to the way in which we make and produce social media content involving those games.
Absolutely. Yep.
You know, we've seen countless videos and Facebook posts and Reddit groups and discussions and threads. I mean, it's everywhere. You can't get away from the hype. And that creates this false sense of entitlement almost to a game that the developers never intended to release.
This is very true. Very true. Quick mention here with this game, there is a bunch of patches that they are working on to fix the various problems, such as the fact that there's very close to no AMD Phenom support because of the way that the code structure was worked. And so there's a bunch of fixes for that that are available on the experimental Steam branch, which you need to use the code experimental, where experimental is spelled with a 3, not an E. So, and that'll unlock it. And they did say to only use that if you're really having problems. If you're not having problems, they recommend you not use it just because it's not fully stable. But so that's a thing. And one of the problems that they said was big was the shader glitches and what is it, stuttering and stuff. A lot of that they said is related to a shader caching function that wasn't working. After about an hour of playing the game, the shader caching would catch up and it would smooth out.
Yep.
But
I witnessed that firsthand. I will say that is something that I am looking forward to them fixing.
And they said that is one of the many things that has been fixed, and as well as multi-threaded performance being greatly improved and whatnot. So
yeah, I think that's what threw me off, is that exact one, because I was looking into it and I don't have the patience to sit through that for an hour.
Launch the game an hour before you actually want to play it and let it idle.
Yeah, I'm not ready to do that. So
Yeah.
I actually refunded the game.
Oh yeah, how'd that process go with the Steam refund?
I'm actually gonna check right now and see if I ever got money for it.
Because we've covered this in the past of the Steam refund.
So-
And I'm just curious how it works.
So I had the option to send it back to my bank or send it to Steam. I sent it to Steam because once this is a stable game, will be okay rebuying it. But I am waiting for it to be stable.
So why not
I
just play the
currently
game
have-
and let it load at this point?
2 reasons. One, if it becomes stable, I will buy it.
Sure.
I don't know that it will.
Okay.
2, it might become stable and then go on sale.
Ah.
Or it might go on sale and then become stable.
I see your point.
So I'd rather not have $60 in a possibly going to be maybe stable game.
Fair enough. Just curious on that one.
Yep, and especially because there is time limits and whatnot on Steam refunds, so it's just easier to just do it at the beginning.
I think it's based on your in-game hours. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but I think it's time. There's like a
There's
window.
also amount of time you can own the game as well. I think it's
it's the
30 days or 8 hours.
Whichever comes first.
No, it's 2 hours.
It's
'Cause
2
I know
hours.
I saw a guy
Wow.
who said that it took him 3 hours to figure out that he didn't like the game. Just because of the way the game works, it takes a little while to actually do it enough to get that far. But
Right. And some of the mechanics, that is one of the things I think I would like to add to this, is this game is not for everyone. And that's okay.
oh yeah.
You know, it is a heavy space exploration game. As an Elite Dangerous player myself, I love this game. It's fantastic because it hits my niche of the world. But for somebody who's expecting, action RPG, that's not this. This is not Destiny. This is its own thing.
Yep, I would certainly agree with that. So just to move on to something else here,
Go for it.
the Fallout 4 DLC, the last one, Nuka World.
Oh, good. More disappointments. Sorry.
Yeah,
Wow.
was ready to disappoint you on August 30th. That's remember it's
I meant
$20
the Fallouts,
without
by
the
the way,
season
not the
pass,
not the
and
comments.
there is a trailer out that you can watch and probably be disappointed. but who knows?
I meant the Fallout universe, not the Nomads.
Freelance, do you enjoy a good margarita?
Once in a while, but I'm not a fan. I don't like smoky and sweet.
Because I feel like I need one right now because there's so much salt going on.
That's good. Hey, so does anyone here actually want to play Battlefield 1?
I do.
FPSs hold a special place in my heart. I would
Okay.
play
Battlefield
somebody
Saga
if
holds
somebody
a
had it.
special place in my
Fine,
heart.
very good.
Hey, more power
very
to you.
good. Just curious. So there is going to be an open beta for this game. It's going to begin on August 31st via Origin, and yeah,
If this goes anything like the Battlefront beta, we're gonna have problems.
yeah.
Well, they're pretty good with the Battlefield betas so far.
So one of the things they said
Getting
is
there.
if you are a Battlefield Insider member, you'll get earlier access if you sign up before the 21st of August. I don't know what that means. I don't know what a Battlefield Insider is, but if you do, good for you because you get to access this early.
You get the special.
It includes the Sinai Desert map and 2 different modes. Conquest, which is a large-scale 64-player game where you're basically trying to maintain control of different objectives, and then Rush, which is this calmer 24-person defenders versus invaders type mode.
Now,
And
is that 32 versus 32 and 12 versus 12 respectively?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
And that is what is being tested in the beta, and so that's the section of content you'll get.
It's a
And
limited test case. I can't disagree with that. It's a good option.
yep. And there's a trailer out now, and of course
Hooray.
the full release of the game is October 21st.
Yay.
So it is a
And,
very small open beta period.
Which I think is good. I mean, it'll at least be a test of the core gameplay to a good
Right.
extent.
Mhm.
And Battlefield Insider, by the way, is a free thing. You have to if you go to their site, they have a whole thing for it, and it's like you subscribe to their newsletter, and then you get like in-games reward, exclusive content, and sneak peek news, basically for Battlefield 1 and other Battlefield games. It looks like it's something they've put up fairly recently because I've never seen this prior to this.
Gotcha. So in other
cool.
words, there's no reason not to do it apart from a little bit of email spam.
Right.
I'm sure you can just unsubscribe at some point after the beta is over.
Mhm.
So in news that I was very surprised by, just because I didn't know that they would want this kind of purchase, Twitch is apparently buying Curse.
Oh, really?
I think that's great.
Sure.
Because Twitch finally gets to like them buying out Curse being one of the alternate chat platforms to Discord. Actually, I think is a good move on their part. A lot of Twitch streamers use it, including Kriparian and a couple other very, very, very popular streamers use it to get their to get everyone on it to basically do like raffles and different events, and there's a lot of Twitch compatibility, and I think that's a good buy on their part. I am surprised they bought them out and not partnered with them.
Yeah.
probably
Imagine it's
cheaper
one of
that
those
way.
things of, well, we could have partnered with you, but you're willing to let us buy you. So, okay.
Right.
Welcome to the family. So, I just learned about this today, actually, and I haven't upgraded personally to Windows 10 Anniversary Update just because every time that my computer wants to do updates is usually like a Tuesday, and I need to edit the podcast right after, and I'm like, I don't want my computer to be broken for 3 days and not be able to edit. So I haven't done it yet, but I plan to. One of the new features in the anniversary update is called Game DVR, which if you have an NVIDIA card, you may be familiar with Shadowplay. I think AMD might have one too. And it's basically, it constantly is recording off the frame buffer whatever is happening in game, so that way you can press a key button on your, key button. You can press a keyboard button and it will save a set amount of time to your disk. Well, Windows built that directly into the OS, and the problem is it is creating some frame rate problems in some games, namely Valve games.
This
So
is
you
indeed
might-
new news to me.
So you might want to go and turn that feature off if you're having problems, or if you just don't like the idea of having that feature, which I personally will turn it off just because I don't use it for any of my platforms.
Sounds like unnecessary hard drive read writes.
That one.
Since I use an SSD, this is definitely something I want to make sure
I'm
I have
definitely
turned
turning
off.
it off.
Yep.
So that's your PSA for Windows for today. And
Hooray.
just to wrap things up here, we got the YouTube trends for July. Nothing too surprising this week compared to previous years. 3 times, and we're already at 2 years. So number 10 is Monster Hunter Generations, which is an ARPG for the 3DS. It was launched in Japan a while ago, but has recently came to a worldwide release in July. So that's why it's number 10. Now, number 9 is Dragon Ball I wanted to say Universe, but it's not. It's Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2.
There it is.
That's an MMO. Number 8 is RimWorld, which is an early access sci-fi colony simulator, which, if you look at the screenshots on Steam, literally looks like Prison Architect.
Hey, not a bad thing.
With space, yeah, that's basically what I got. Which it may very well not be anything like that, but that's what it reminded me of.
It looked like, yeah.
You know, so you got that in number 8. Number 7 is Evolve Stage 2, which is a free-to-play multiplayer FPS.
Based off one of the biggest bombs of the new gen. Evolve being one of the games that was like a $60 price point way back when, and immediately became free-to-play because it was way too small of a game.
Yes. Then you have Street Fighter V at number 6. You have We Happy Few at number 5, which is an early access action adventure game.
Super
game.
That's super cool.
Now here's one that I actually was a little surprised by this, just because it's odd. Left 4 Dead, the original.
The first one?
Sweet.
Number 4.
Awesome.
Right, it came back. It was
For
not
some reason.
Left 4 Dead.
It was not apparently. Someone went back and picked up what's his face who always dies.
Bill?
Bill? Sure. If he
Sure.
always dies, then yeah. Number 3 is 7 Days to Die, which is a post-apocalyptic first-person shooter. Number 2, Inside, spiritual successor to Limbo. And number 1, any guesses who haven't read the sheet?
I was about to say, I've already read the show notes.
I mean, this one's really not that impossible.
Well, it is in the sense that the amount of controversy that it caused based on how it was being streamed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is very true. So number 1 is Pokemon Go, of course. Obviously, there's a lot of haps going on about that. So it's been a big thing. I mean, it's broken a lot of records and whatnot.
It has single-handedly taken down the majority of World of Warcraft players.
At least taking them away for the month. We'll
Right.
see them. We'll see them when Legion comes out. But what I find interesting is Pokemon Go. I think is interesting because I feel like it's. I don't want to say it's dying because that would be like overstepping it. But I feel like they've got to release something new.
So
Here's how I know. Here's how I know this. When it first came out, actually 2 weeks after it first came out, I would bike down one of the bike trails that had 3 Pokemon stops, or Pokestops, whatever the hell. You and your Pokemans. And there would be so many people. I had to get off my bike, and walk. I would have to get off my bike and walk it through them because it's not even like it's their fault. There's just not enough room in that area to host that many people trying to do this. And I biked past that last night on my way home from work, and there were 2 people. We went from I have a video of easily 75 people, like a couple weeks after the release of the game, like 2 weeks, or 2, and it's the same time of night, same basic day. I mean, it's a Monday versus probably like a Thursday. So I find it very interesting that at least so far for me, I'm seeing a lot less people going out and playing it as frequent.
I think everything that's the thing is that it's the shininess.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
We'll see.
I
more.
gave up trying to capture the gems because Team Instincts never keep gems.
True.
Well, here's the problem with the gym system. At least this is my opinion of it. Is that even if you take it right, it's so likely that someone else who has all right, our generation thinks this is amazing, but we don't have the free time because we have at least full-time jobs. And similar to all video games, a 10-year-old will kick your ass in it.
Yep.
very true.
So
It's the
now we
dragon.
have, especially this summer, over the summer, there's just, I mean, for the next couple days at least,
Yep.
we got a lot of kids who are just out there doing their thing, going, oh look, some guy on Team Yellow got this, Team Blue, like they don't even know. They don't even know what a Pikachu is. They think they do. They don't remember. They don't have these memories, but they're gonna crush your hopes and dreams.
Right. This is very
They,
true.
they had the. They think most of these Pokemon are new too, most likely.
Yeah, right?
In
Seriously.
certain circumstances, yes.
Yep. So that is it. That's all we got for today. I hope you enjoy this episode of the American Truck Podcast. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button, as well as hitting perhaps the subscribe button over there, and maybe leaving a rating down below or a comment down below as well. We will see you guys next week.